When my sister was in her early 20s, I had just gotten to Brazil to serve my mission and got one of the most devastating calls I had ever received that my sister was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Was devastated and went to my mission president's home, took the call to talk to my family to find out what was going on. And the very first thing my sister said was, "Don't you dare come home." She said, "You stay and complete your mission." And she's, "I'll get the blessings from you being out there, but you need to be there." My name's Felicia White, and I grew up all over Utah. When I was in high school, I had to move down to St. George. I went to Dixie State and got a degree. I've been able to get a job at the University of Utah. I worked there for a couple of years, which led me to find a job at the church office building, working with the church. And that just opened up a lot of doors, led to a lot of blessings in my life, has strengthened my testimony in several ways. Since I was a little girl, I've had a really strong testimony of prayer. I don't know where it started, but I just know that since I was little, I would say a prayer when I needed to find something, and I would open up my eyes sometimes and it would be right there. I would have been searching for it and it was just literally right there. And growing up, that's been constant, that I've learned that when I've needed to have an answer, I say a prayer and either the answer comes or I find something. Some things do not go out just by prayer alone. We need to be able to fast and pray, and sometimes even ask for the priesthood blessing. When my sister was in her early 20s, I had just gotten to Brazil to serve my mission and got one of the most devastating calls I had ever received that my sister was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Was devastated and went to my mission president's home to get the call to talk to my family to find out what was going on. And the very first thing my sister said was, "Don't you dare come home." She said, "You stay and complete your mission." And she's, "I'll get the blessings from you being out there, but you need to be there." And that started, my mission found out what was happening. They all fasted and prayed for my sister. And meanwhile, back home, my ward family there was fasting and praying for her as well. So it was that prayer as a group, combining our faith and prayer on my sister's behalf. And my dad at that time wanted to give my sister a blessing and to bless her with a miracle, but he didn't want to go against what Heavenly Father's plans were. Each person in my family, we've learned that it's thy will be done with Heavenly Father and to not press our own wills on him. And so it was very hard for my father because he wanted to bless her with a miracle. He didn't want to bless something that was against Heavenly Father's will. Heavenly Father had two people in our ward family that ended up feeling impressed out of the blue to come up to my dad on two different occasions and to tell him that he needed to give her the blessing that he wanted to give her. And that was correct in Heavenly Father's will, and that he could give her that blessing to have a miracle in her behalf. And so it took two different people having received that inspiration to come up to my dad and to follow through with their inspiration to tell my dad that he finally was able to feel at peace with giving my sister a blessing, that she would have a miracle happen, that she would be able to overcome and be healed from the cancer that she had and the surgery, that everything would go well, and that she would be blessed with a scar. But the scar would remind her that miracles still happen on the earth today. And she was able to receive that blessing. As I was praying that everything would be a surprise, the doctor had painted this horrible picture for her coming and leading up to her surgery. He had just had another surgery with another young lady who had the same type of cancer, and said he wasn't aggressive enough and that she was going to die. And told my sister, because they did a washing of her insides, and it came back with showing lots of signs of cancer throughout her whole entire body cavity. And so he told her that he was going to go in and basically start cutting and taking a lot of stuff out, because he was convinced at that point, from every sign that he had, that she would have cancer throughout her whole body there. And didn't paint this great picture. So the fact I was praying that he would be surprised by the time he had and performed the surgery. And the very first words that my dad said when I got the phone call after the surgery was the doctor said he was surprised. The exact same words that I've been praying for. And he was able to get in there, and when he opened her up for the surgery, he found the cancer, was able to remove it, and he started looking around for those other signs that he convinced and he was completely sure was going to be there, and nothing was there. So they did biopsies of everything, and everything came back negative except for the one place that he knew was the cancer to begin with. That was in her ovaries. And so we've been able to have our testimonies just strengthened time and time again, that to know that Heavenly Father is there, that he is listening, that he really does care for us. But we've had to realize that we might not have gotten that miracle, and that we were still going to have our faith in God and Jesus Christ. No matter what happened, even if my sister were to have passed away, we weren't going to lose our faith. We've learned through time and time again, as we've had our struggles with my brother having a brain tumor and having a miracle for him as well, having it through his surgery, that we've had to get to that point of being able to say, but if not, I will not lose my faith. And that we trust in Heavenly Father, because that's where our peace has always come from and where our faith is. And if we were going to have something tragic and horrible happen, that we were going to always trust in him to get us through those hard times. And that's given us so much faith and peace and comfort throughout our whole lives.